This is Diane Hogarth, millionaire mom, and Clifford Starks. Now, Clifford Starks is a really special man. Normally, I will interview make money online people, but this one is a motivation coach. Have you ever got out of bed and gone, oh, can't be bothered? I'm just going to read my magazine or whatever and do nothing instead. This is the guy that you need to motivate you onto the track, the lap, around the laps, because he's a personal trainer. So he's now going to give us an insight of what motivates him, how he got into personal training, and how he made the change to coach and motivator. So, Cliff, could you tell us a little bit about you, please?
Yeah, so I've always been a person of living life to the fullest, giving your best, giving your all. And I've gone through my process and didn't know why I was the way that I was. But as I've coached and worked with other people and learned more about myself, building that self-awareness, I get to learn more about me and I get to learn more about others. And I get to continue to empower and inspire myself and empower and inspire others. I just want to be that rising tide that lifts all ships.
Ooh, a rising tide that lifts all ships. Hey.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant metaphor, that is. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
So, you've always been interested in keeping fit. So, was that your first choice of job, or have you had jobs before that, and then this is the one that you just fit into properly?
Well, I was a fat kid, and I would look in the mirror and I wasn't liking what I was seeing. People would tease me. Unfortunately, kids are not always the nicest.
Yes, this is true. So in any country, any color, they're all the same.
So they're teasing me, and I didn't like the way that I looked. And so I did something about it. And it took some time. It took a little bit of time of putting it together and making it work in the way that I wanted it to. But I ended up getting to where I wanted. And in 10th grade, my dad asked me, what do I want to go to school for? Like university. And I'm like, Dad, I'm a sophomore in high school. Like, I'm not thinking about that. And he goes, think about what you want before you're actually there. Because what people often do is they get there and then they don't know what they want. So have an idea of where you want to go. And I thought about it. I thought about it for a little bit. And I thought, you know what? It felt good getting myself in shape. And I want to get other people in shape. I feel confident. I feel good about myself. And I want other people to feel the same way. And so that's where I picked kinesiology before I even got into ASU.
So kinesiology, a lot of people will not understand what that is. Could you explain it, please?
It's the study of movement. So it's a combination of biomechanics, the muscular system, and it has a twist of psychology in it as well.
The twist of psychology. Tell us more. This sounds really interesting.
Yeah, so I took a couple of psychology courses specifically tailored on sports athletics, and it shows the power of what thought can do and how it really can affect the mind of an athlete. And so we think of things as they're just physical things that we do, like either you're physically getting better or you're physically not. And that's not necessarily true. You want to get the mental and the physical working hand in hand so you can go at 100%. And so it's little things like whether you're feeling confident or not feeling confident, whether you're having a good day or not having a good day, building the right habits so that you're strong when honestly life just isn't working the way that you want it to.
So what are the right habits then? Tell us about habits, what you can do to get your mindset right, not just in the fitness game, but in the life game, in the work game, in the if you sorted your brain out and you knew where you wanted to go and you didn't get sidetracked, you'd probably get there, wouldn't you? but most people
Absolutely.
don't.
Absolutely. Yeah, you become a series of the things that you practice consistently. So the funny thing is it's easy to implement a healthy habit. It's just easy to implement an unhealthy habit too. And so we get used to implementing unhealthy habits to the point that when a trigger comes up, we just go right into our unhealthy habit. But it's just as easy to implement a healthy habit. It's just it takes time, and people want things right away. And if they don't get it
Mm,
right away, it's like, oh, it's not working, you know? But we implement all sorts of bad habits that took time to implement. It's not like you just build a bad habit instantly. It takes time to build a bad habit, you know? Like I go as far as saying eating healthy, right? So you focus on eating healthy, you feel better when you eat healthy. If you're getting very intoxicated to the point you're hungover and you're like, oh, I'm never going to drink that way again, my head hurts. And then you end up doing it again and again
yeah.
and again until you get really good at it. So you can get good at whatever you want to get good at.
So, if you get up one day and you can't be bothered,
Mhm.
what are the three things that you could tell yourself to get yourself motivated?
Well, one thing is the things that we repeatedly say to ourselves. Do we believe in ourselves or do we beat ourselves up? You know, it's something simple, but it's really important. And if you believe in yourself and you believe in your capabilities and you're acting on your capabilities, you'd be surprised what you can do. You know, and the other piece is the environment. Like people don't understand how important the environment can really be to a person's well-being. And it's the same thing as if you had a plant and you didn't water it, you didn't give it the sunshine that it needed, you didn't give it the proper nutrients that it needed, it wouldn't develop properly. A human being's the same way. If a human being's in an improper environment, they're not going to become what they need to become.
So, how would you, for instance, if you're in the money making niche and you want to do something online, but for instance, you're a mum at home, the kids are driving you nuts, the husband is against you, but you
Mhm.
know that you've got it in you, what would you say to them?
The number one thing is you have to have a vision of where you want to go. You have to know where you're going to be so you can have an idea of what you need to seek out. Now the thing is your vision will actually get clearer as you start taking action. You do have to take action, but you have to have something so that you're moving forward into the direction that you need to move into, because there's going to be friction on something when you're trying to get somewhere. There's going to be natural friction because it's different, it's new, it's unique. And so whether it's the husband, whether it's your kids, whether it's whatever it is, you have to figure out there's a solution. See, instead of looking at problems as, well, I have this problem, this problem, this problem,
I
it's like
can't do it.
what solutions am I going to find for the problems that I have? Problems are a good thing because we get the opportunity to find a solution for the problem.
So that's a good thing because people get overwhelmed, don't they? And they go,
Mhm.
oh my God, I can't do this. And
Yeah.
then they don't try.
Yeah, it's simply put, find one solution to one problem. We'll look at, like, if we have 500 problems, are we going to try and solve all 500 problems at the same time? You're not going to solve anything. So look at one problem, find a solution to the problem, and then move on to the next.
That's true. So what made you start doing these lovely motivational videos? Because they are amazing. Because who actually thinks them up? Or do you actually have an idea? Is
Yeah.
there a script? How the hell do you actually do one of these? Because they're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. So I don't go on script. I just speak what's on my mind. I speak what's on my mind on what topic I'm talking about, though. So I'll have a tip, or I'll have if it was considered a script, it's more of an outline. So I'll create an outline of bullet points on what I want to touch on, and then I just let my passion take over. Because ultimately, like when it comes down to anything, there's nothing more powerful than passion and acting. Like you got to act on what you're doing, and you have to act on it passionately, and you can get wherever you want to go.
So when you're running on the track, is the videographer running with you?
He is. And the funny thing
Oh,
is,
he must be really fit then.
he didn't realize how fast I was either. He goes, "Oh," he goes, "I didn't think you were that fat." Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm an athlete, dude.
And then you're running up the steps, and he's following behind you over the shoulder.
Mhm.
You know.
So he has to actually start way in front of me because I was running way too fast for him. He's like, I can't keep up with you. I'm like, yeah, this is what we do.
So who chooses the shots? Do you just say, film me doing this, film me doing this? Then he has the freedom to cut it where he wants to put it together.
So the cool thing is in business, what I'm learning is you find people who are strong where you're not so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my strength is about taking action, about living a full life, about doing the things that you need to do. And I do it with passion, and I do it with my speech. I do it with the stories that I tell. I do it with my voice. He does his stuff with his pictures. He tells his stories with his pictures and with his shots. I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's not my skill set. But when you get us both together, that's what makes a beautiful video, because I let him go in his skill set and he lets me go in my skill set, and we make a masterpiece.
And it's just the booming voice and the music as well that just motivates you, and it's just so powerful.
Yeah. I mean, when you can get a person up and just wanting to actually take real passionate action, there's nothing better than that. And honestly, I learned that from personal training. Like one of my biggest stories was I never had a problem getting people who were already in good shape in even better shape, because they already had kind of the basics down on what they needed to do. They had an idea of the strategies. They just needed to change a couple things. But the people who really needed to lose like 80, 90, 100 pounds, those were all more difficult clients. It was more difficult to get them moving. And people would look at it and say, well, of course, because they're that much heavier. But the truth is, I learned something that I didn't know when I first started training. And that's the story we tell ourselves. And if I can change the story that they're telling themselves, then it's just as easy to get them to get to where they need to go as it is to get someone who's already got the foundation and is moving into the inches, if that makes sense.
So how do you make somebody believe in themselves then?
Listen very closely. Listen, active listening. They'll tell you their story. They'll tell you their strengths. They'll tell you their pain points. They'll tell you what they love. They'll tell you what they hate. And then you have to paint the right story to get them to take motivated action. When you can do that, that's where the power's at. So the power is a combination of, yes, the trainer, but also the person telling the story. And you listen really closely and you start saying, oh, this is why they're where they're at. They'll tell you why they're where they're at without even realizing it.
So what's your story then? Tell us your story.
My biggest thing is, this is actually kind of crazy because I didn't even know it until I started talking to enough coaches about it. But a lot of coaches have been suicidal at one time. And that kind of shocked me. You know, I was just like, why are so many coaches suicidal? And why was I never that way? You know, my grandfather, my first grandfather, who was my mom on my mom's side, he ended up passing away. And I was 5 years old at the time. And I got to see him be buried. Like, I remember the whole thing, you know? And it scared the hell out of me. Like, it was terrifying, because in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to die one day. Like, I'm not going to be here one day. I'm going to go in the ground just like everybody else. And I just thought, and said, I got to live. Like, I got to live the best life that I can, because I don't know when my last day is going to be. And I got to enjoy every moment that I'm given. So it was almost like my own spiritual death happened at that time. Like,
Wow.
I think people have to go through a traumatic process to really appreciate the really good things in life. And sometimes that's hard for people to do. Like, they almost want to avoid the pain. They want to avoid hardship. They want to avoid those transformational moments. But those are the moments that define us.
Fabio's on. Hello, Fabio. I just noticed he was on, but you were talking about, and I'm thinking, I can't, unless he's gone, because he said hello, but I just only noticed that he was there then. Fabio lives in Portugal. And he's really hard to regress often, but he's amazing. He's got great mindset too.
Oh, awesome. Very cool.
He's very focused, because unless you're focused, so for somebody who, for instance, wants to lose weight or wants to make, say, $50 a week, you've got to have a strategy in place. So
100%.
So what have you got as a strategy to reach your goal for the people listening and watching on the replay?
So the most important strategy is to know who you are. Because the second you have an idea of who you are, you're going to know what your strengths are. You're going to know what your weaknesses are. And you're going to know what works for you. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and everyone's saying, this is the one that works. Do it this way. No, do it this way. It's the same thing as with personal training. There is no one diet size fits all. We're not cookie cutter. So you got to figure out, like, well, who are you? What do you like? What do you want to do? What impact do you want to make? The second you can start defining those is the second you can start creating a strategy for you to move into where you want to go.
I like that. What impact can you make? Because it's great when you can help people, isn't it? Whether it be health, whether it be a strategy to get more leads, whether it be anything to help people. That's what makes the world a better place, isn't it?
100%.
And if you learn something, what I've learned is if you learn something, then you do it and you teach it, and then you become the leader that 100%. You were meant to be.
Yeah. And the biggest part, biggest, coolest part with entrepreneurship is it's about giving service. And so when you can find out, like, what can I service? Who can I service? What does the market need? What does my specific market need? When you can start answering those questions, that's when the process gets easier and easier and easier.
So you've heard it from the top, guys. You've got to find out who you are, what your goal is, and if you focus on that goal and laser focus, it's like the great Victor Paredes with the pink tie. I love that guy. He did a brilliant, he was just doing in some jet washing. You know where you jet wash your slabs or whatever it is, and it's like a black slab, and he puts it on weak, and it's just going right, and then it's just not doing anything. But if he laser focused it and just had a little teeny weeny jet, he went zzz, and he got results.
No, that's 100% true. So once you figure out what you are, who you are, what you want, then you go really deep into one area instead of kind of going shallow and all over the place. You want to go deep down, and then you can spread out, but you can't spread out until you go deep and figure out specifically what you want.
And you've got to choose one thing and not flit. Because most people who are making money online, I'll try this one. Yeah. Oh, that one doesn't work. Let's have the next shiny ball over there.
Yeah.
Have a little tiny ball over there. And did you
Yeah.
know the internet doesn't work?
Yeah.
And did you know if I try this diet and that doesn't work, and this diet and that, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same strategies, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Like, it's almost like you hear the same thing over and over again. I have 6 methodologies that I run by, and it's the same thing over and over again. And people are looking for sometimes that quick fix where it's just like, if I just do this, then it's going to work. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's going to take some time too, and it's going to take some focus. It takes focus, dedication, moving into the direction that you need to move into, and staying consistent with it, and really just having the faith and knowing that it's going to come together, because you're going to learn, you're going to grow. You're going to have some bumps, you're going to fall a little bit, but you're going to learn and you're going to get better. And that's the other thing, finding the right coaches. You talk about Gavin and Permjit, and just having the right foundation of coaches who can help you not make the mistakes that you would normally make on your own. So they can basically double or even triple the time that you get to where you need to go.
Exactly. So, guys, you've got to have a coach, you've got to have a mentor, you've got to have a vision, and you've got to have the right mindset to do daily actions.
Yeah.
And that's it in a nutshell. If you can do daily actions and don't think of it as a quick fix. Everybody wants to make $10,000 online in 3 weeks, but it ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a free one or a $5 one, or you know what I mean? Everybody thinks it's there's a magic wand somewhere, and you go, ping.
It's hard because they're hearing that all the time, though, too.
I know.
Like, I think it's a combination of shame on you, but at the same time, everyone's saying that you can do that. Like, oh, I'll teach you how to make $5,000 in 30 days consistently. Like, and you don't have to have any experience or anything. You don't have to know anything about online marketing or technology or anything about anything. That would be like me as a personal trainer. If I said, all right, I am going to get 50 pounds. I'm going to take 50 pounds off of you in 30 days. I know nothing about you. I know nothing about your lifestyle. I don't know Jack. I don't know anything, but I know I'm going to get 50 pounds off of you. I just know that's going to happen. How do you know? Because I said it's going to happen. Just pay me the money. Like, it's just like, and so when they're hearing that consistently, it's just kind of like, do I pay? Like, people almost want to pay people to say that they tried something. You want a coach, but you want to be picky about the coach that you get. You do want to be picky. You want to ask questions. You want to make sure it's a good fit for you. You want to make sure they're not feeding you bogus information too, because there's people who do that. A person can say whatever they want to say, but where are their results? Who else have they worked with? What have they done themselves? Do their personalities fit with yours? Ask those questions.
Because I always say, go over to my YouTube channel, Millionaire Mom, and then they'll see a couple of my videos and they'll see if they resonate with me or not. And if they do, fine. If they don't, well, find somebody else. There's enough people in the world to match up with, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the coolest part of it. It's like, I'll never forget. So with selling, they say, I could sell an ice to Eskimos. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, so it's just kind of like, listen closely, see if you guys are a good fit, and then if you are, work together and help that person get to their success.
Because if there's trainings and you can get weekly trainings with that person or whatever, then, or they've, like, if it's a big giant guru, you're not going to get access, are you? But if it's one of somebody on a lower level but has got all the knowledge, I'd stick with that one. Know what I mean? Because if you get access and they'll hop on the phone with you or something if you're stuck, that's what you need. Isn't it?
And that's what we're talking about, is being stuck. People get stuck. And sometimes, whether it's the limiting belief they don't have the right story playing in their head, they don't have the vision to know where they want to go. Sometimes I'll work with people and they don't even know what they want. They have no idea. So we need to get really clear on that first before we can start just taking action. The sooner we can get clear on specifically where you're looking to go, what you're looking to do, what you want to become, then we can start taking action. And so some people who have no idea, like, Cliff, well, what if I don't know? Well, start talking to people and find people who may ask the right question. Sometimes it's just asking the right question. Sometimes a good coach is nothing more than that person who makes you think a little bit differently and go, oh, I didn't think about that way. Oh, I didn't know about that way. That's how I get weight off of people. I don't get weight off of people about telling them the lunges they need to do and the food they need to eat. Everybody knows that part. Like, everybody knows, like, you know what? So if I ate less and exercised more, you're saying I would lose weight? Seriously? Are you sure? That's not where the magic's at. The magic, the story that we tell each other. The magic is, what transformational process do you want? The magic is, why do you want this? Why do you want to become this thing that you're looking to become? And when you can answer that, all of a sudden the action becomes effortless. You want effortless action.
This has been amazing. I hope all you lovely people on YouTube that are watching the replay got loads out of this, because I know I did. And thank you to Cliff, the great Clifford Starks, the man himself, motivation man. Thank you so much for coming along from Arizona, because it's like
thank you for having me.
All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Have a good day. Can you see there's the thumb.